an AppleVis original.
Hi there, and welcome to the AppleVis Extra podcast. My name is Dave Nason. I'm delighted to be with you again with another episode in our mini-series talking to blind and low vision developers. We thought it would be really cool to put a bit of focus on people from within our community who are coding and creating great apps for us and sharing them with us. So on this episode, I am delighted to be joined by Quinton Williams, who is the developer of the VAL voice alarms and Chimes app. It was Thomas Domville, Anonymous's pick of the month earlier this year. So really cool app. It's got a lot of interest. And it's really great to have a chance to talk to Quinton about his background and his process of bringing this app to us. So without further ado, let's jump in and chat to Quinton. Quinton, how are you? Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much. I'm great. How are you?
I am good. The sun is shining here in Ireland for the last 2 weeks, which is extremely rare. So yeah, you recently released a new app which has proved quite, popular on AppleVis.com. Thomas Domville selected it as his app of the month, which is pretty cool. I wondered, before we get into the details of it, do you want to tell us a little bit about your background and how and when you learned how to even create an app?
So honestly, it's kind of a weird story. So I pretty much, I'm actually learning to code right now. I actually don't really know how yet. So I've been kind of learning backwards because, I know there's a lot of stigma behind AI tools. And so I've been kind of doing it in reverse, where I build something and then figure out why it works the way it does and how it works. And because I did it in college, I did Python, but I don't know. It's just something about it. There were things that I understood really well. And then there were things I just got stuck on. And when I got stuck, it's like I had to worry about everybody else and getting behind. And then there were so many hours where I'd spent like in office hours and tutoring, and I just didn't feel like I was getting very far. And then it was just like, I felt like every time I would ask questions, it just, I don't know. I always felt like someone was getting frustrated with me, or I'd spend hours and just felt like I didn't really get anywhere. So it's like, now I can ask all the questions I want and need, and no one's going to get frustrated with me. So like it's like, I have an idea. I know how things should work, and I know how something is supposed to work and look. So like, and it was kind of more just like, can I just make this work for myself? I'm just curious, like, just to mess around. Then ended up I'm like, I'm just going to try this and really see what happens. And then I just like, before I knew it, I was already using like Xcode and TestFlight. I was just like, oh, you know what? I think this actually might have a potential. So, and I've always had a passion for clocks as a kid. And so I was like, and I always loved Steve's clock. So I was like, I'm going to make something that will kind of bridge both gaps for other people. Because I know people have wanted it forever. So that's pretty much how it went for me.
That's really cool, because to self-teach, it isn't easy, but it's something that is more and more available to us. And like you said, that with some people there can be a bit of stigma about vibe coding or whatever you want to call it. But if you're not just throwing it into AI and seeing what happens, you're going back and looking at it and learning from it, which I think is
and especially when even now, like, there's server stuff coming into this, I have to make sure it works right and it's secure and like, I know for me, and we all know, right, especially in this community, we see all these AI things coming out and promising to be the next best thing, and it's just garbage. And it's just like, I don't want to do that, and I want to really, I know I want to be honest, but at the same time, it's like you have to kind of be careful, because you'll tell them that you use AI, and people just immediately go after you, and I don't think that's really constructive either. It's like, it's use it as a tool. It's a tool. That's literally what it is. So
yeah, there has to be a happy medium there, doesn't there?
Yeah. And it's pretty much like, I guess in case of me, I can literally just ask any questions I have, and if I don't understand something, it'll go with me until I get it, even if it takes 3 days. So it's so liberating. It's like I have access to everything I could have ever wanted to learn, versus a book that if I don't understand a certain passage, I can't rewrite it since I don't understand. I can just ask it.
Yeah, absolutely. And is it written in Swift or what language is it being written in?
Yeah, it's Swift.
Okay. And do you feel you're learning the language like you've as well as you go?
Yeah, I've kind of been doing, I do like Python and Swift like in parallel. Because like
Okay.
once you learn a language, a lot of the same concepts carry over. There's obviously differences, but
Mm.
it's just a way that it's like if you can learn one, then a lot of the concepts just carry over. So I've been kind of doing them in parallel.
Very good, yeah. 'Cause
Um,
my grand sum of knowledge on coding that I ever did was a little bit of HTML and CSS at a basic kind of level, and I never got past that. But I'm still really curious, kind of seeing what people like you are doing.
CSS is a whole nother.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But HTML, I still remember a little bit, and I still
yeah,
get the concepts of how it works. But yeah, so I'm really curious and really interested when I see people like yourself who are kind of using these new tools to learn as well as to build stuff.
yeah. I mean, it's honestly just. I'm like, is this possible? And if it'll give me something, or like I have an idea, like what's the best way to do this? And if there's a bug, I've kind of been doing this thing now where like I'll use Git. Basically, allows you to track your changes and revert and all that, all that fun stuff. So basically, I will fix something, and then because I do these lesson things every day in the week with it, it's every morning. I always have like a scheduled thing set up, and it's like I want to go back to where there was a bug and figure out why it was happening and what caused it, and then we can and then also look at the code and stuff, because there are times when it's like I have no shame in using it for like things that are just repetitive and like booking stuff, like because I have a whole I built this whole like agent setup that I can use, like I can control through iMessage and WhatsApp and stuff. So I'm like, I just want you to book me my rides for the week because I don't really feel like it. It's like, okay, I got you, and it just goes and does it. So it's pretty insane, and does Ubers and everything.
That's cool. And for writing code side of things, do you have a particular set of tools that you've landed on as your favorites?
I mean, Claude Code's definitely like one of my favorites. Like, I think it's really good at explaining things. It doesn't, at least in my experience, it's really good about not just telling you what you want to hear. So like if something is generally horrible, it'll tell you in a nice way, of course, but it'll tell you it's just, no, this is not a good idea.
Oh, very good.
So
That's cool. And do you want to tell us a little bit about the app?
So basically it's called VAL. So I kind of came up with this. I was like, what do I call this, right? Because I'd actually written to Steve Clower from Steve's Clock about this before it even became anything, because I wanted his permission to be able to make things compatible. Mm-hmm. I was like, do I call this Steve's Clock for iPhone? Like, no, because it's mine, and plus I'm planning to add a lot more onto it. Then I just want to have scaffolding so things will be backwards compatible. And so basically it's a talking/chiming clock app for the iPhone and Mac, and I am planning to make it available on other platforms as well. And everything from Steve's Clock works, and I have some of my own methods in. So it's able to like speak the time in a certain way or play different sounds, and like you name the files a certain way. And there's a whole reference in it. A friend of mine and I redid actually just recently. So it's meant to be a customizable talking clock app, and it has an alarm clock as well, it has Apple's native alarm kit, which is new in 26. So that basically they act just like normal system alarms, but you set them up in the app, and you can close them or whatever with the Apple Watch. So it's basically just it's just meant to be a really customizable audio clock app, more or less.
Oh, that's really good. So it's kind of one of these where Apple have opened it up almost so you can set your app as your default alarm rather than their one.
Sadly, you can't do that in the clock app.
Okay.
They don't really let you do that, but they do let you set alarms. So it's basically how it works. You set it in the app, but it gets scheduled with Apple's alarm kit. So then it'll come in as a normal, like it'll get through focus and all that.
Oh, very good. And does it have an Apple Watch app as well, or is it iPhone at the moment?
If it's an Apple Watch, you can dismiss the alarm, but the app itself is on the iPhone, and that's only it's not on the Apple Watch, mainly because Apple doesn't really allow you to do much with that. So I just didn't, until they open it up, I'm probably not going to do it, only because it's just, I would love to have it.
Yeah.
But they don't really give you a lot of flexibility.
It's true though. I've seen over the years plenty of conversations on AppleVis about Chime. People asking, is there any good Chime apps, or is there any good?
I mean, yeah, I knew it was like I knew I wanted one. I was like, I'm just tired of it. Like the ones that we have don't sound good. The ones that sounded reasonably good are gone. So I was like, I think it's time to make something. Like, and I love it. I just made one of the other day. I just took these announcements from a train system in Australia and made a clock out of it. So
that's very cool. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and it's like I have friends who made birds, and like 'cause the WhatsApp community is really taken off. So like I have a friend of mine who reconnected with me after like 10 years over it, and we've been making stuff. Like he made like bird clocks that follow the Westminster rhythm, but it's still the bird. It's just really interesting what people are coming up with already, and this is before we even have the library stuff, which will be coming not too long.
What's that? Is that going to allow people to share their sounds within the community, is it?
Yep. Basically, you'll be able to upload, download, categorize. There'll be categories, and also be a way to follow people, and like it'll have an algorithm, so like you can upvote and stuff like that. So it's going to be it's going to be its own thing entirely. But I really want to have it be easy for people to share. Those who don't want to mess with Dropbox and all that. So
that's so cool. Who knew a clock could have such a wide kind of interest? Not even interest, but to be able to have almost a community aspect to it. It's very cool.
Yeah, honestly, it's just. Clearly I know there's an audience for it. I was like, I wonder who. And then I posted about it on Mastodon. It was just all over. And people were doing, I posted demos, and it just kind of was like, people wanted to know when it was coming. I was like, okay, yeah, there's clearly an audience for this. So, I'm sorry, did you ask me something?
Nope.
Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't miss it. But yeah, no, it's really impressive, and I know, I'm sure you're aware of Chimekeeper as well. One of my good friends has developed that app. And so I was like, let's make something that works for the iPhone that's also backwards compatible with that.
Oh, nice.
So it all works. It's so nice to have something for both Mac and the iPhone, because the Mac has really been the most neglected. Mm-hmm. So there really wasn't anything available.
Yeah, and it's funny you obviously this is a case of you built an app first for yourself, in a sense. That was something you wanted, and that's a real theme I see when speaking to developers, that when they come out with apps, it's like, well, I wanted this, and then I thought, oh, maybe other people would like it too.
Well, because I just sat down with them. Like, I want to write out a plan. This was back in March, by the way. I was like, I want to write a plan for something. Because the first thing that really got me, I was like, I want to try to revive this old game that I used to play on iOS back in like early 2010s. And I was like, and it actually worked. And I got it working. I was like, okay, you know what? And I have this clock app that I wanted to do for years and talked about. And I'm just like, let's just make a simple app that you just play a sound, and it can also announce the time on an interval. It worked. And I showed somebody, and I was like, okay, we're going to just add on to that. It was all bit by bit. And that's how you really should do all of this. And before I knew it, I had something that was working. I was using it as my default alarm. And I was like, okay, I'm sure someone else would enjoy this. It's like so I started on March 9th, and I already had it in test flight on the 14th. So,
wow. I was going to say, you started in March, and it's already been out a couple of months. So it was a quick turnaround.
Yeah. It started at the iPhone, and I was like, we need a Mac app. So luckily, because Apple is generous, if you follow the rules, you can use the same code base. So I was like ecstatic when I was able to get Mac OS working. So
good. And how have you found the whole app approval process, and App Store and App Store Connect, all of that side of things?
App Store Connect, the web is kind of a mess, if I'm being honest. Like, it is just not great. I've managed to figure it out, more or less, but now I just use Fastlane, and it's just command line, and it's much faster, and I can just go to multiple groups at once, or do one command that just goes to upload, submit, and it's just all done with release notes. But as for approval, so when I first did it, it was a little tricky, because I was still learning about entitlements, basically the things you have to request from the device or from the app. The app has to request to use. And so when I was doing it, because I have it, there's a feature where you can use your location for like for sunrise and sunset and stuff. And I accidentally had it basically requesting the level that like a GPS app would use all the time. So I was so worried because I first uploaded it. It's in review, and I saw it got rejected, and then realized that you can still do location-based schedules and all that stuff without having that level. Just use significant location changes, and like that alone was a learning experience because like I didn't know the difference at the time. So that's kind of why you learn as you go, and I feel like it's like. And then there was another time where it happened again because I didn't realize the guideline where you put a location prompt up. When you go next, you're supposed to let Apple's prompt be the one you deny, not your own, because then it gets stuck. Because you could deny it and then never be given the chance to request it again. But if Apple does it, you can go reapprove it again if it asks. So like, other than that though, it's actually been pretty good. I mean, pretty much everything gets through now. Now that I had to read on the human interface guidelines, what they call them. Mm-hmm. So there's things you just don't think about until you do it. But it's been really, really fun, and I feel like it's like giving me a sense. Like for years I've like, what am I gonna do? What do I want to do? And ever since I've got into this, I've just been so fascinated, and so. This is like the one project I've started majorly working on, but I have other stuff that I'm kind of doing in the background. So,
we'll talk about that in a moment. So, yeah I'm always really curious, actually. It's when talking to particularly blind or vision impaired or low vision developers, of how you find the user interface aspect and designing, the visual interface. Were you using AI to help with that, or do you have other people look at it, or do you?
I have friends, luckily, who have some vision that helps because I'm totally blind, so I can't really test how something looks. So I'll usually ask, like, would you mind turning voiceover off? Like I had a friend, like, I was like, can you turn off voiceover? And I want to make sure it worked without it before I did anything, because obviously, counterintuitively enough, I could have a backwards accessible app, one that works with voiceover but doesn't for sighted users. So I do that, and I definitely use AI for the screenshot part just because I literally can't do it. Mm-hmm. But luckily, the Fastlane allows you to automate and script navigating to parts of the app. So I can basically write like the part of the app I want to go to and take the screenshot, and it just does it all. It just runs it automatically. If I'm doing a bigger update, like this last one, I did get new screenshots. So I was like, I want to get screenshots of the favorites tab and the new clock tab, and so basically, I was just able to automate the whole thing, and they're always the right size because they were Apple. The App Store Connect will reject it if it's not. So, and it got through. So I was pretty happy, and I always make sure, like, describe the image to me, send it to me, and because I just don't really have a way of verifying it, so I do whatever I can to make sure it still works. And I'm obviously learning about the interface stuff and like views and. But I can only, I still like to ask for some feedbacks from sighted people, since I can only do the code part. I can't actually see it.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense. What is Fastlane? You've mentioned it a couple of times.
It's just a command line tool that you can use to submit updates without having to use any kind of web interface. And it works across multiple platforms, but especially you can use App Store Connect API, and you can just... You set up lanes, what they're called lanes, and they're basically, like you have an iOS lane, a Mac OS lane, or you have a full lane, for lack of a better name, and it combines both of them, and it can have their own release notes, but you can upload them both at once, basically. And you can tell it, like, submit for review, just upload it, send it to test flight, and it allows you to do everything that like App Store Connect can do, but without having to deal with the web interface.
Oh, very good. And is this an Apple tool, or is it a third-party plugin kind of?
It's a command tool. Like it's basically, and it's for Android as well. Or for Google Play. I forgot who makes it.
Yeah. So it's not something Apple are providing. No,
it's not just Apple.
Yeah. No, I'd say there might be people interested who may not be aware of it because I know some people have found App Store Connect quite tricky. So,
Yeah, I mean, there was a period where it was completely unusable earlier this year. So it was just like, I heard about this, and once I figured out how to use it properly, it's wonderful. I can just write all the release notes down, put them in one command, just send it, and like an App Store Connect notifies you as like when the processing is done, when it's submitted, when it's waiting for review. Like, oh, you get all that, but it's just like I can do it all at once. I don't have to go to the App Store Connect page, add a new version, type the stuff, add the build. I can just do it all in one command. So
very cool.
it's much easier that way.
Yeah, very good. You hinted that you might be working on a few other projects, or you might have some ideas. What are you thinking?
So I'm kind of I mentioned that agent thing that I've been doing. That's probably my biggest one because I just like, I'm so fascinated. So I use it for a lot. I sometimes if I don't want to call, like I even made it so it can call on my behalf and book things, and like I can text it to steer it and text me as things are. As it's talking to someone, it'll text me. So if it needs my confirmation, I can just reply and it just sends it to them and speaks it. So like it just makes certain things a lot easier, so I don't have to wait on hold forever.
Yeah.
And I like it for, especially for inaccessible websites because it can use Chrome. So if I can't click on something, or like there's Mailgun is a prime example of this. Because I was using that for my automated emails, but I just switched from it. But when you close the account, you have those fun menus where it's like, give us a reason, image.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I already typed the reason. Can you just close it? Okay. And then I got the email like within like a minute telling me it was done. It's really, really, really nice to be able to do this stuff without always having to call up Ira and like, especially when they have like priority provisions where you can't always get in. It's just like, it's just an iMessage away and I can just ask it like, so that's the biggest thing. I thought about maybe doing like a flashcards app, potentially like a studying app, because I have not found anything that really works the way I'd like it to yet. So that's kind of something I've considered doing. And I also have worked on the TT Accessible app I'm sure we've all heard about as well. So they make Team Talk client for the Mac.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been kind of helping out with that a bit. And just, honestly, I've kind of been all over the place. I mean, VAL right now is my main project, but I kind of been dabbling in other things just so I can understand and how things work, but also like how far I can really take all this. And it's been incredible. It's been a month and I've already been able to do all sorts of stuff. Like, and I've learned so much that I don't think I really could have because it's already right here. The app's here, the servers are here, but now I can learn backwards. Like I use it, but why does it work the way? Why does this not work right? And how do we fix it? Instead of just being given a hypothetical that I'll probably never use, I have actual stuff that I use. And if something breaks, I have to obviously fix it and figure out why it's broken. So it's like I kind of have to learn, and I can't help but learn when you're exposing yourself to it. It just you just kind of pick it up.
Yeah, and especially if you're trying to create something that has to be of the quality to get into.
Oh yeah, I'm very much a stickler. Anyone who's had me beta test for them knows this. Like, I'm very, very nitpicky, but I guess we've all dealt with it where we have apps that like sometimes they half work, sometimes they are great, or other times like there's just one thing it just doesn't work, and it's like, I'm determined to be different than that. This whole thing is going to work properly. It's going to be intuitive and like I want to make myself available for people who need to ask questions, because I get it. It's also why I want to make this. I want to be the exception rather than the rule, and that's why I'm very lucky because everyone who's been beta testing with me has been wonderful and reporting things to me, and talking to me and suggesting. It's been really, really nice, and it's been a lot of fun and. There's things I never even thought of, and you can't catch everything yourself. Someone will. They always will find something.
Yeah.
So that's just how it goes. It's never going to be like. It could be a year and someone finds something that's been there for the whole time.
Yeah. Is there anything that because obviously they'll find issues, but they'll also give you ideas sometimes. Is there anything in the app that either is already there or will be there in the future that's come from a suggestion? Or
Well, actually, yeah. So what's coming? It's not here yet because I realized I already had a lot of stuff in this last release, so I was just going to update it now and then be part of the next big one, which will have the library. I'm going to have it so you'll be able to do location-based scheduling and not just sunrise and sunset. So if you want to have it change, if you go somewhere like work, or if you want to be quiet when you go, and also you'll be able to have contacts support, so you can parse your addresses. It'll be able to parse the addresses out. And obviously it'll check for multiple, so if you have multiple, you don't just get one. But you can basically add people's addresses to the app, and then you can set it like when I go to my mom's house, use the clock that we use the chime that from the clock we had at home while I'm there, and then when I leave, use this other one. And then like I'm also working on a control center announcement toggle because I know that was requested early on in AppleVis, and I think it's a wonderful idea. And actually, Levi has been testing with me as well.
Oh, very good.
So there's a lot of stuff, and I'm sure there's more that will actually come up, but those are like the biggest right now, probably. And also, I'd like to get Windows and Android going once all this library stuff is stable and working. So
yeah,
I really want to make sure the scaffolding is there, so then all I really have to do is just build off of it. So that's pretty much, and of course there'll be accounts, and I'm going to have like syncing. So if you optionally can have it sync all your stuff, regardless of platform, and not just iCloud, but if you have certain clocks that you want, or you want your settings to transfer or share, you'll be able to do that as well. Cool. So you don't have to keep importing. It'll just work. So.
Oh, good. And it sounds like you yourself are mostly on Apple, but you want to bring these things to Windows and Android. Yeah. Do you have those devices, or do you have?
I don't yet, and that's part of why I haven't done it yet. Actually, I have PCs, yes, but I don't have an Android device, and I feel like Android would probably. Actually, I don't know. I guess they both would be really awesome to do, but I definitely I just don't like using Windows unless I have to. But I do think this would be. I think a lot of people would enjoy this, and I would love to get it out to people because now we're getting to the point now where like it's not fully backwards compatible now. With Steve's clock, that was just kind of like a foundation. So I'd like to have a consistent experience across everything. Basically, no matter what platform you're on, it'll just be there and work. So,
very cool. The pricing, is it one-off, or is there a lifetime? Is it subscription?
So right now it's available for $6.99 US. But when the library stuff is available, I'm going to have an optional subscription for it. But everything right now is going to work as it does. So if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. Everything will work as it is right now. But I'm still kind of working out the prices for that, but I'll have annual and monthly options. So then people don't have to, I'm just as tired of subscription fatigue as anybody, but it also does cost to host. Yeah. So, I want to be reasonable and give people a lot. Like, I want to give people what they pay for. So, like, that's why I'm going to have all this email alerts and all this other stuff hooked up. So then people feel like they're getting, and you'll also be able to preview like what all these different things will sound like and see the library. You just won't be able to really use it until you have it, but you'll still be able to see everything. And there's going to be like a whole process. It's going to be like you submit it, and then I and a few others will see them, and we can approve them or like ask for clarification. It's going to be I'm really doing what I can so that we don't get any cease and desist or anything. So I want to do this properly. So, yeah. But I think it'd be really, really, really cool once it is finally available.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And yeah, I'd say for indie developers, one of the trickiest parts is the pricing and marketing and all that kind of side of it.
Yeah, because Apple takes their pretty penny.
Yeah, true.
So that's a bigger part. And that's also why I'm going to offer both app and web options, and the web will be cheaper. And thanks to this ruling, we can now display that in the app.
Yeah.
So I'm going to incentivize people to do it through the web because, it'll be cheaper, and it means I don't have to wait for Apple to take forever.
Yeah.
So, but either way, it'll be both options because I know not everyone wants to do all that. So,
yeah. Well, it's yeah, that's brilliant. I mean, like you say, you only began the project in March, and you're already here with a pretty fully fledged app with more great stuff coming. So yeah, well done on all of that. And
Thank you. It's really been so fun, and it's just like, wow, like I don't have to worry about emailing someone else and hope that they'll do it. I can now.
yeah, exactly. And if people want to get in touch with you with feedback or are interested in being on beta testing, anything like that, is there somewhere they should go to look for you?
So I recommend, and this is going to be easier very soon because I just sent an update out. So soon, or a test flight, which I'm just letting go through a cycle before it goes to the App Store. There's going to be a button directly inside the app to join the WhatsApp group or the community. And then in there, there's a test flight beta group, and there's a link inside of that. And obviously, I'll provide it again. And there's also a bug reporting tool inside the app, which, you can report anything and it gets sent to me and I can look at it. And so that's already made a significant difference. If you'd like to reach out to me via email, you can send that to support@val-clock.app. If you have any questions, if you're not interested in WhatsApp or whatever the case may be. So I really try to make myself available. And if you use the bug reporting tool, there's an optional field where you can have your email be shared with me, and then I'll also be able to reply for any clarifying questions.
That's great. Thank you, Quintin, again for joining me. Really enjoyed the chat. And
Thank you. Me too. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. I appreciate it.
great stuff. Wish you best of luck with the rest of it, with the future of the app.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, and thank you everybody for listening.
This podcast was brought to you by the community at AppleVis.com. AppleVis, empowering people who are blind, deafblind, or who have low vision to get the most from Apple products and related technologies. A proud member of the Be My Eyes family. For more information, visit our website at www.applevis.com.